Now everyone, let's find an overview of this seminar. Please make sure the purpose of this seminar is to navigate you to explore overall picture of the employment system in Japan. This is the agenda that we are covering today. In the first part, we'll be taking about the general information about the job hunting process in Japan. After that, we're gonna through the basic information about the status of residence relevant to the career transition. This will be 90-minute seminar, and we'd appreciate it if you could stay until the end. After the second final session, we are gonna have a Q&A session. So please feel free to ask any question you might have. In the first section, we'll be introducing the following two topics. So now, let us step into the first topic. Firstly, let's find an overview of this what's happening in the Japanese job market. As you may know, Japan is facing serious population aging and population decline. And it leads to the fact that the working age population is falling rapidly. And surprisingly, it is estimated that Japan's working age population will decline by 40% by 2070. In this context, you can probably assume what the circumstances Japanese companies are facing. We'd like to point out two aspects today. The firstly, globalization. Since Japanese internal markets are shrinking in some industries, so companies are eager to expand their business overseas. They are seeking change makers who have innovative perspective and cultivate and expand business field. And next, workforce shortage. As we've just seen, Japan's total population has been declining. Labor shortage is becoming a huge issue in certain industries. Considering all these facts, the Japanese government set a policy to actively promote the employment of talented foreigners. So Japanese government has high motivate for you guys to so please be confident. Okay? So now it's time to look at the situation of international employees in Japan. As you can find from this chart, the number of international employees and employers hiring foreigners is increasing in Japan. So these figures have reached record high, and corporate interest in foreigners working in Japan is expected to continue rising. So let's move on to the next topics. What Japanese companies expect. In order to accelerate the current improvement, it's important for you to understand the company's demand. From this point, let's find out what Japanese companies expect for international students. It's very, very important point. And first of all, what are the reasons behind companies hiring international students? Please consider about it. Okay. The first is to recruit great employees regardless of their nationality. The second one is to promote globalization. In this case, you will require multilingual skills, communication with overseas. The third one is to increase the diversity of the company and stimulate Japanese employees. And lastly, to utilize the high motivation of international students. In some cases, international students are regarded as being more motivated. Yeah, it's a very big chance for you all. So these are the major motivations many companies have when they come up to the ideas to hire international employees like you all. So this slide presents the result of a survey on reason why Japanese companies hire international students. As explained the previous slide, the main reason include three: acquiring talented international students. This one. Invigorating Japanese employees, and promoting global business initiative. This one. Here are the results of a survey on the qualities that Japanese companies look for international students. The reality is that Japanese companies require both liberal arts and science students to have a high-level Japanese language proficiency and communication skills. So some of you attending this seminar might not have many opportunities to use Japanese regularly. However, if you wish to work in Japan, we recommend that you first practice to handle simple greetings and introduce yourself in Japanese during an interview. So next topic will be the main skills and mindsets which Japanese companies look for in fresh graduates. So now we'd like to share with you the 5 elements here. The first is communication skills, that is, ability to conduct high interpersonal interaction. The second is initiative. That is the ability to find something to do and take actions before being asked. The next is cooperativeness. Ability to collaborate with others and perform tasks as a team. And then spirit of challenges. Ability to keep challenging yourself and continue growing. And finally, integrity. Ability to work with a humble attitude. So considering the past several slides, let's find out what qualities you can utilize as your strengths. And firstly, the language skills. Please research the language requirements of your target company. And secondly, the innovative mindset. Please think about how your diverse perspective can add value to the target company. And thirdly, the international background. Please research how your target companies are expanding overseas business current and potential. And we've been looking at highlights of hiring international individuals. However, what can be downsides? What can you come up with? We'd like to raise 3 points here. The first, the adaptability to adaptability to Japanese culture. And next, the ability to work with Japanese coworkers and clients. As for these 2 points, we want to suggest you that if you have any former experience overcoming conflicts, you may introduce it to a company. Japanese companies tend to listen to you, what is the obstacles or difficulties when you study at universities. Okay. And lastly, the retentions. As for this point, we recommend you prepare and explain your long-term career vision for your post. Okay, and considering everything discussed so far, we must inform you that over 80% of Japanese companies, this one, sorry, 80% of Japanese companies require international students to have at least, this one, at least elementary business level of Japanese language proficiency when making hiring decisions. For science and human technological students, also the Japanese companies Japanese companies which don't require high-level Japanese are increasing year by year. We recommend you continue study Japanese. That's because if you aspire for future promotion and pay raises in Japanese company, business level Japanese skills would be mandatory. So similarly, even in the IT industry, which not require Japanese skills, you may need to communicate in Japanese colleagues or bosses from all over the department. Yeah, over 80% of companies require business level Japanese proficiency. Yeah, we should say that this fact. And next, let's find out more specific jobs and areas that can be your target. These are very rough categories of this job as a job in the Japanese job market. Some of you may wonder where the potential area for international job seekers. So there, this slide shows some examples. Major fields where international talents are actively engaged. So let us elaborate on some parts. And from the upper left, this one, sorry, this one. Yeah. From the upper left, overseas sales, the overseas marketing, and middle promotion, production management. This one. As we have covered in the beginning, many companies are aiming to expand their business internally. So these jobs are very on point for someone who has an international background. So these areas, okay? These areas is the one we explained, okay? And next of the upper right, this one, okay? A system engineer, a software engineer, or programmer. Currently, many companies are actively conducting DX digital transformation. So we would say IT-related jobs are one of the most in-demand positions in Japan. So we have to say that it is one of the very few jobs that actively English-speaking candidates. In addition, customer-oriented position, this one. Can you check this point? Okay. In addition, the customer-oriented positions are more promising. As you know, they hadn't been active after the pandemic for several years. However, the situation is improving, and we can expect the rapid revival of these jobs in this area in the near future. Yeah, please check out this about these jobs. And now, okay, we have just covered the first topic. From this point, we'd like to navigate you to the second topics, that is, future of the latest Japanese requirement system. Okay. In the second section, we'll be introducing the following 4 topics as well. So let us step into the first topic. So let's start by finding an overview of typical employment system here in Japan. As you know, it's well known that Japan has quite a unique employment system and customs. So if you want to pursue your career in Japan, it's very important to understand the environment. Okay, so starting from the upper side, and firstly, seniority-based system. As for the evaluation and promotion system, some companies still have a seniority-based system. Secondly, lifetime employment. Japan used to have a lifetime employment system, which means once an employee joins the company, they will stay working in the company until retirement. This custom is now changing. However, some companies still expect longer time contribution for their employees. And now let's take a look at the second box. The first, membership-based employment. To understand why many companies in Japan put so much importance on hiring fresh graduates, this concept is quite important. This is a form of employment in which the company may transfer employees from one department to another one, but from one location to another one. So unlike other countries, Japanese companies recruit a large number of fresh graduates while not specifying the certain job descriptions and assign them to the most efficient position and develop them by conducting frequent job rotation. So that form of employment also impacts job hunting system. So these are the main examples. Firstly, job hunting starts all at once. People start their job hunting at least 1 year before graduation. Let's say you are a 4th-year university student in Japan. You need to start job hunting actively at the end of the 3rd year. There is a pretty fixed time frame. And next one is mass recruitment of fresh graduates. The selection and job offer process are completed during academic years. If you follow the typical schedule and if it goes smoothly, you will get a job offer during the summer of the final school year. The third one is joining the company in April. Almost all students join the company soon after their graduation. And lastly, potential-based employment. During the screening process, usually companies prioritize students' potential rather than their hard skills. In the membership-based employment, companies usually don't specify the job descriptions, so there is no sense to examine the specific hard skills. So they do care more about your soft skills and behavior. Okay, it's very, very complicated. Yeah. And from now onwards, let's understand the general job hunting schedule for fresh graduates. In this slide, let's start with the March graduates. March graduates. Usually, job hunting starts in the third year at university. Around July, this one. Around July, some international companies start their selection process. Also, some of the Japanese companies set up summer internship programs. Official job information will relate it of the first day of March. This one. First day of March. This one. From this point, companies start accepting the applicants all at once. And shinsotsu applicants are usually required to submit an entry sheet, okay, or entry form for each company. Job-seeking students will be extremely busy during this period. Okay. Then applicants will be invited to the screening process. This one. Screening process. Such as screening test, group interview, and individual interview. If everything goes smoothly, you will receive an official offer. An official offer from around June. And in case of you haven't received an offer at this point, you can continue to job hunting. Some of companies, especially mid and small size companies, are conducting year-round recruitment lately. So please check the website of this kind of companies. Yeah. Okay. And then let's look at the model schedule for September graduates. The base is the same as March graduates, but the time frame is slightly different. In the case of September graduates, ideally, you should start job hunting before starting the summer vacation and 1 year prior your graduation. This means that September graduates should start preparing for job hunting before the summer of their third year of undergraduate studies. So let me see. This one. Yeah, this area. Please point out. Please check this one. Okay. Before the summer of their third year of undergraduate studies, first year of master's studies, or second year of doctoral studies. And please take a look at this point. Your graduation timing. Probably this one, graduation timing. Probably some of you want to join our company soon after graduation. As we explained again and again, Japan's mainstream is April enter. Okay, April enter. So in most cases, you will be asked to wait for a half year around. So then, if you want to stay in Japan, you need to switch your visa. This area. If you want to stay in Japan, you need to switch your visa to the specific status which is called designated activity. Regarding this visa change, I'll be taking about specified data form. So that's the important point for September graduates. Yeah, so we will elaborate about the visa changing at the third part of seminar. Okay. Okay, so then in this part, let's understand each selection process. Let us talk about only remarkable point. So please look at the second line, entry sheet. For fresh graduates hiring, companies usually require to submit the entry sheet or digital form. It's similar to a resume, but there are specific writing topics on it, such as why are you applying for our company? What are your major accomplishment in the academic years? So meaning you need to do is a tailor-made writing for each companies. So and then next item, the screening test and a group discussion. In the case of large sized or well-established company, there will be tons of applicants right there. So usually companies set these processes to narrow down the large number of applicants. So most cases, all these steps are conducted fully in Japanese. So it would be quite a high hurdle for international students. So as we mentioned, studying Japanese hard is very, very important for successful your job hunting in Japan. We know you are very busy to proceed the research or study at Japanese university, but we should say this fact. Yeah, please remember it. Sorry. Okay. So let's take a look at the timing of start of job hunting activities, comparing it with Japanese students. In general, this one. In general, international students often begin job hunting activities in April of their final year of study, while Japanese students often begin their job hunting in June or April, 2 years before graduation, very, very early time. And from this result, you can imagine that it's very important to start preparation for job hunting in Japan at an early time. So this slide shows data from a survey on the rate of job offers made to students within Japan. Okay. The average number of job offers per Japanese university student has increasing compared to the previous year. One reason for this is that Japanese companies are making job offers earlier. So it's important for international students to start your job hunting activities as early as possible. And okay, so let's move on to the next topics. How to prepare for the selection process. As we have just seen, the shinsotsu hiring process is not easy, so it's highly recommended to get well prepared. As a preparation, you may want to start with self-analysis and self-reflection. You can clarify your strengths as well as your important values. After working yourself well, you might want to move on to the industry or company research. If you are not sure what kind of job you are interested in, so we recommend you consider joining internship programs. It would be a valuable opportunity to understand the work environment. Also, for international students, we strongly recommend meeting with alumni. You can ask for them about the Japanese work environment and what the job looks like. Also, sometimes you can receive effective advice on specific career channels for international job seekers. And lastly, preparation for the screening process. Process. If your university has a career center, please go and visit the career center. In any case, continuing to learn Japanese is important, so please keep this in mind. Okay, then you can narrow down your target company or job. For the self-analysis and company analysis, we will introduce information in our upcoming seminar, which will be held at autumn. So please allow us to skip this slide and please consider joining us again for further details. So we will inform about the details of the later events about this kind of topics at the end of this seminar. So please stay at the event until the end. Okay. Right, so this slide is from Open for Professionals, a job site for foreigners opened by JETRO, a public organization in Japan. And we will send you the link in the chat box. So please send the chat box, please the link from the chat box for all staffs, okay? So please check the chat box. So we will send the link of this Open for Professionals. It is a very useful website for you all. Okay, yeah, so please check the chat box now. Okay, and you can also search for internships from Open for Professionals. You can also find information on companies that place more importance of applicant skills and measure than on their Japanese language level. Also, this slide shows LinkedIn, a social networking services that specializes in business. Many of the jobs offer experienced professionals, but the appeal of this website is that you can connect with former international students from the same university who are working in Japan. You can also send a direct mail to the HR managers of company. So we encourage you to take advantage of it. In addition, we strongly recommend that you participate in an internship to deepen your company research. By participating in internship, you will not only be able to research the company, but also learn Japanese business etiquette and improve your communication skills. For more detailed information on internships, search the Employment Information Navigator website, which is now on. It is also important to use employment information websites. It's important to note that here that you should use the appropriate navigation site for your graduate year. In particular, those of you entering school in the fall should pay attention to this. Yeah. So please check the website, job information website. So I think you can gather about the effective or efficient website from your Japanese friends or members of your laboratories. So please ask them about it. Okay, so now allow us to move on to the first topic, differences between fresh graduate and mid-career job hunting. We assume some of you already have a few years of working experience and so may wonder which category you should be classified. First of all, let's find out the definition of each categories. At first, we'd like to talk about fresh graduates. Fresh graduates means students who have no work experiences. Incidentally, those who have a few years of work experience are also eligible to join this category as second fresh graduates. Yeah. And now, please let us give you a few examples of their futures. They are expected to become a manager in the future, and their characteristics is also the potential-based employment and rich training system. On the other hand, mid-career indicates the applicants who have over 3 years of work experience. So they are expected to be high performer immediately. And also, the other features are year-round recruitment and job-based hiring, and salary negotiation is slightly possible. So then, let's look at the pros and cons of each of them next slide. And here is the pros and cons about the fresh graduates and mid-careers. Sorry. This one. Okay. As for fresh graduates, there are 3 pros and 4 examples. New employee onboarding. This one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. New employee onboarding and environment to train inexperienced employees and encouragement with fellow new employees. At the same time, there are also 3 cons: long-term recruitment process, no choice of department or location, and inability to negotiate salary. In contrast, regarding the mid-career, this one, okay? This one. In case of mid-career, there are 3 pros such as year-round hiring and flexible start dates, rewarding work related to your expertise, and negotiable annual salary. And also, cons are no fewer new employees, few training opportunities, difficulties in adapting to Japanese corporate culture, and so on. So I know some of English-speaking students have job experiences. So let us mention for you again. If you are not sure whether to apply as a fresh graduate or mid-career worker, don't hesitate to ask the company directly. So never forget to take action yourself, and hopefully you grab the chance. Okay, and this is a model schedule for the Shinsotsu, recruiting process. We already covered this item so far, so allow us to skip them. And here is the model schedule for mid-career job seekers. Okay, so unlike the Shinsotsu process, we like to say the process for mid-career is more flexible. So you can start a job application whenever you are ready. So it is said that this one. Generally, it would take 3 to 6 months to complete the whole processes. But if you are targeting a competitive position, you should start as soon as possible. So, So for job application, you can proceed on your own. So also, many applicants use recruitment agencies and headhunters. And if you complete the whole processes successfully, you will get a job offer. After confirming your employment, then discuss the starting date. Then after securing the job, you need to switch your status of residence to an appropriate one. For this status change, we will talk about it specifically in the next section. Okay, so we are about to end our break. So finally, we'd like to move on to the third part, status of residence permit for work in Japan. So in this topic, we will introduce basic information regarding status of residence which are relevant to job hunting or employment in Japan. So please look forward to it. Again, if you have any questions, please send them through the Q&A button. So please note that I cannot answer questions sent to the chat box. Okay? Okay, so let's start with the part 3. And this presentation material is authorized and advised by a visa specialist, Toppan Travel Service. Before we moving on the main topics, please keep in mind that there are always exceptional case and application will be determined on individual basis. So when you seek specific information, please double check with Immigration Bureau website or ask Immigration Support Services or by yourself. We do appreciate your kind understanding. So we will send the link about the visa consultation in institutions. So please check the chat box later. Okay. And first of all, let us share how Japanese companies hire talented foreigners. According to survey, there are more cases of hiring international students in Japan than companies directly hiring talented foreigners from overseas. And also, a large percentage of companies are interested in hiring talented foreigners. Japan now has over 2.3 million foreign workers, a record high. The biggest increase was, this one. The biggest increase is professional and technical fields like engineering, and this shows that Japan is actively hiring international talent to deal with labor shortage and support its global business. The number of foreigners working under the visa called Engineer, Humanities, or International Services has grown rapidly in 10 years, especially in the IT and manufacturing industries. The visa type is the most common for international students who get jobs in Japan after graduation. And then let us briefly explain the current situation regarding acquisition of status of residence. As we've covered in the first section today, due to the workforce shortage problem, the Japanese government has determined to promote employment of foreigners. As you can see in the slide, this one. As you can see the slide, there are a few regulations and introduction of new systems. As a result, there are an increasing number of international employees who hold various types of working visa. Now, so let's take a look at basic information about status of residence. Status of residence is a qualification that allows you to stay in Japan according to your purpose of activities. The residence card is issued as a certificate of the status of residence that allows you to stay for a medium or long term. I assume most of you hold a student status. So you can see the expiration date at the this area, at the bottom of the card, this area. And also refer to the other side, this one. In order to work part-time under the student status, make sure that the stamp is marked this area, marked on the back of the card. So the stamp of the name is the permission areas in activity other than that permitted under the status of residence. Japanese name is 資格外活動許可. If you haven't got the work permit, you need to apply for it before working. So now there are some possible cases regarding the visa change. If you decide to pursue your career in Japan, you may find yourself in a situation such as applying for a working visa, changing a job, or extending the status of residence. In such cases, you will need to follow an appropriate process in order to avoid problem. So let's find the first examples. This one. Switch student visa to working visa. This one. In order to do so, you need to decide which working visa to apply for. If you are looking for an office-based job and also you are expected to hold a bachelor or a master degree, most possible case is to apply for a Gijinkoku visa. So let us get back and explain this status change more specifically in the next slide. And second example is this one. Second example is a case of job change. If you happen to decide to move a company, please don't forget to apply for a certificate of authorized employment. So by conducting the procedure, you can make sure to check if your status of residence covers the activity of your new job. And third example is this one. Third example is extend your status of residence. In the case of you can apply for extension of period of stay, make sure to complete the process before the expiration date. And if you have any concerns about the detail of your residence card and changing your status of residence, please consult with the inquiry desk of the public institution press. So please take a look at the chat box. We will share the link of Flesk. So for all staffs, could you share the links of the information about status residence? Please send the links. Okay. So for students, so please check the chat box later on. Okay, now let's get back to the Gijinkoku status. Gijinkoku is the abbreviation for Gijutsu Jinbun Kokusai in Japanese, and English translation would be Engineer Specialist in Humanities and International Services. This status can be divided into three parts. And first, engineer. which covers the work which requires technical expertise in the field of science of engineering, such as software engineer or CAD designers, etc. And second, specialist in humanities. This is the work that requires knowledge belonging to the humanities area, such as accounting, sales, or strategies planning, etc. Lastly, international services, which covers the work that requires ideas of sensitivity based on international cultures, for example, interpretation, translation, and language teachers. So as we've seen, many of office type jobs are classified in this category. Amongst these several screening criteria for Gijinkoku, the first sentences should be more basic requirement. This one. When you apply for this status, you will be examined where your academic background match the job context and purpose of the employment. The relevance between your measure and the prospective job would be very important. This slide shows how to quickly confirm your eligibility. The vertical line defines the job description, and horizontal line shows student measure. If the slide shows A, then your application would probably be no problem in terms of this point of view. In case of the slide shows C, you need to carefully confirm the details. Also, in case of B, the result of examination depends on the job and your major. In addition, sorry. In addition, this one. Starting March 2023, you will be able to receive your certificate of eligibility by email. For more information, we recommend you visit the dedicated website. And please check the link of the chat box, certificate of eligibility for residence. Okay. And Japan has introduced a tuberculosis screening test for long-term foreign residents from specific countries. So you will need to visit the designated clinic and take a chest X-ray and probably give sputum samples. And if you are TB-free, you will receive a certificate required for the visa issuance. This helps protect public health in Japan. Some countries now require a tuberculosis check before entering Japan. So if you are from one of these countries, you must go to a special clinic for a medical check, chest X-ray, and possibly tuberculosis test. So if you don't have tuberculosis, you will get the certificate needed for your visa. Okay, so now we're moving on to the advanced topic. Yeah, and this slide shows the various cases of status of change depending on your career path and your eligibility. Upper half shows status for employment. In short, working visa we have already covered Gijinkoku, so we will be explaining the other three. And the lower half shows the status for designated activities. We have picked up two categories relevant to job hunting. So let's find the details. And first case, the question is that This one. I'm about to graduate but have not been able to secure a job. Is there any way to stay in Japan? The answer is that you can apply for designated activities which allows you to stay in Japan after graduation. So this status allows you to stay in Japan for 6 months first and another 6 months after renewal. So now let's find out the qualification for designated activities. So let me pick up some remarkable points. So please look at the third box. This one. So in order to apply for the designated activity, the candidates must be the undergraduate, graduate school, junior college, or vocational school graduate. So basically, Japan are language school graduate without any degree not eligible. But if you have any bachelor degree in your country or outside of Japan, you might be eligible. So in this case, please confirm with the immigration inspector or your language school teacher. So get back to the first point. Yeah, this one. Please look at the first box and sorry, this area. Recommendation letter. Recommendation letter. You need to get the letter of recommendation from your school. As for a recommendation letter, each schools have the internal requirements, and they don't usually handle late applicants from the postgraduates. So be sure to check the details before you graduate the university. I recommend you consult the university desk regarding the changing the residential status like the Center for International Exchange. This is relevant to September graduates. So, sorry. This one. If you could secure a job during the academic year, then you can stay in Japan under designated activity status until date of employment. So take a look at the procedure. This one. First, before the time of graduation, you apply for a designated activity visa, and then 3 months before the employment, you start applying for another status change for the working visa. Okay, the next, if you are considering applying for a humanity in specialists, position in Gijinkoku, this is going to be quite subjective. As a basic rule, it's not allowed to conduct unskilled spin projects under Gijinkoku qualification, and customer-oriented jobs are often classified as simple job categories. But it is, how can I say, depends on the company or jobs. So if you want to work for such kind of jobs, please consult with companies you want to enter or work in. Okay. Furthermore, these customer-oriented jobs are applicable to the other stages of residence. We'd like to elaborate these topics on the next slide. The first, let's look at the designated activities 46. This status has established by the Japanese government in order to expand the range of industries in which university of graduate can work. So with this status, students can work for this one. Services industries such as restaurants, such as restaurants and retail stores, as long as they use Japanese language in their work. And now let us explain some important qualifications. This one. Candidates must have graduated from 4-year university or graduated 4-year university or graduate school in Japan. So if you graduated from a university outside of Japan, you are not eligible. So also, candidates need to have a strong Japanese fluency in order to conduct communication-based jobs. Also, if you are thinking of finding a job in the specific field, you may like to consider applying for this visa, specific skilled workers. If you have any interested in this type of status, please check the details here and consult with the FRESC. Please check the chat box. And last but not least topic are highly skilled foreign professions, so-called HSP. There is a point system for this qualification, and those who achieve a total of 70 points or more and eligible for preferential treatment under the immigration control. So let us explain some examples. Okay, first of all, the period of stay is set at 5 years. So in addition, there is a relaxation of residency history requirements for permanent residence permit. It's basically 10 years or more, but if you obtain HSP with 70 points or more, it will be shortened to 3 years. And if you have 80 points or more, it will be shortened to 1 year. If you have concerns about the details of this topic, please refer to the document provided by the Immigration Bureau. And then please take a look at the link of highly skilled foreign professionals from the chat box. Okay, and the item of points calculation include academic background, professional career, annual salary, and age, plus some of additional bonus points. In this point system, the academic background is quite large, so in my personal support experience, many PhD students or MBA holders are applying for this visa. But if you have any specified technical license, such as IT-related certification, you may be eligible. If you are wondering whether this status is applicable to you or not, please go and check the points calculation tab by yourself and check the link on the chat box. Okay, and this is gonna be the last presentation slide about the residential status, but the last 3 visa issues are extremely important for you for your long-term career development in Japan. So please make sure to obtain appropriate status before you start working. That's gonna be my last comment on this part. Okay, so let's move on to the last topic. This is an explanation of present preparation from the time you receive a job offer to the time of joining company. Now first, let's talk about opening a bank account. In order to open a bank account in Japan after graduation, 2 requirements must be met. So first, you had this one. So first, you must have been in Japan for at least 6 months. And second, you must have a job in Japan. The slide shows the presentations need to be open bank account. In particular, signature stamp is sometimes that foreigners are not familiar with, but it's necessary for living in Japan, so be sure to have it ready. So the second topic is residential contracts. Okay. Oh, sorry. Residential contrasts. Okay, so this slide also provides an example of preparation of required housing-related matters. So as the system differs depending on the company you are joining, such as how to sign a contract and whether or not rent assistance is provided. So please make sure to consult with the respective company before joining. Okay, we will conduct concluding the explanation of part 3 regarding residential status of pre-employment preparation.